Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I have a review and first impression on the new Maybelline Fit Me foundation. This is the Matte and Poreless version. I believe they came out with two different ones. They have one that's more of like a dewy finish for those of you who have dry skin, and then they came out with this one for those who have combination to normal to oily skin. So I do have oily skin, so anything that says it's for oily skin, I absolutely love to test out to see how it really holds up to that. And what I really liked about this one is that it had that poreless, has that poreless description of it. So for those of you who really like maybe the Kat Von D Lock It Tattoo foundation, for those of you who are always interested in like primers to help fill in pores, definitely this may be a foundation that may be suitable for you. But like I said, this is going to be a try on and first impression, so we're going to see how this holds up throughout the day. This doesn't have any SPF in it, just keep that in mind. I believe this costs about maybe $5 to $6. I think I bought it at Walmart. I believe it was $5 some, and then with tax it came out to $6. So it's a fairly affordable foundation. So if you're not sensitive to drugstore products, maybe this may be a good option for you. But like I said, the full review will continue on, but let's get on to the application of it. Okay, so before we start to put on the foundation and apply it, I'm just going to kind of read off the product details that are on the Maybelline website. It says, a tone texture fitting foundation for the ultimate natural fit. Mattifies, erases pores, and matches natural tone for normal to oily skin. Fit Me Matte and Poreless from Maybelline New York goes beyond skin tone matching to fit the unique texture issues of normal to oily skin for the ultimate natural skin fit. While some foundations can exaggerate pores and oily skin, only our pore minimizing foundation contains our genius blurring micro powders that erase pores and absorb oil for a naturally matte and poreless looking finish. Dermatologist and allergy tested, does not clog pores, oil free. And it says for best results, apply evenly to your face and blend with your fingers. But as far as application goes, I don't think I'm going to do that because I don't really like to apply my foundation with my fingers. Unless I'm in a bind and absolutely have to, then obviously, your fingers are your best tool next to a brush. But since I have my brushes here and ready to go, I'm going to use my brush. So I'm going to apply this pretty much like how I would apply my normal foundation or my go-to foundation regularly. And then for the color that I got, I actually used Temptalia, the website, to find what my foundation match was. I plugged in my Bobbi Brown Longwear Even Finish and my Warm Sand, and it told me that Buff Beige number 130 was going to be my best bet. So let's see. I'm a little bit nervous about the color because it kind of looked a little bit dark when I finally swatched it at home, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes. So let's get started with the application. First off though, I do want to say one thing that I'm not too thrilled about. I mean, it doesn't really affect my opinion so much, but it's more of a con than a pro for me, is the fact that it isn't a pump, it's a pour bottle. So that I'm not too fond of, just because I feel like those can get a little bit messier, and I don't know, I'd rather have a pump. I feel like it just keeps things a little bit more cleaner, and it's less mess. I'm actually going to shake it just a little bit. It doesn't say to shake it, but just in case, I'm going to shake it because you just never know. So before I apply it, I am actually going to prime my face. This is my Mehron Velvet Finish Primer Serum. I use primer usually every day, so if you guys don't use primer, this might, I don't know if this will affect my opinion of the foundation, but like I said, I want to apply this like how I myself would normally apply my foundation on a regular basis. The texture of this foundation is a lot more runny than the texture of my Longwear Even Finish from Bobbi Brown. You can kind of tell here it's starting to drip a little bit. So it has a little bit of a runniness to it, but it's nothing too runny, so that's good. I really don't like runny foundations. And now I'm just going to dot the color or the foundation onto my face. I probably put a little too much on my hand. I'm gonna work with that for now. Okay, so you guys saw how much I put on my skin. This is usually how much I put on regularly. I'm not putting on any more or any less. I'm gonna use my Bobbi Brown Full Coverage Foundation Brush, and I'm just gonna start buffing that into the skin. It doesn't really have a scent to it either, so I like that. Not that I mind a scent, but I've had some funky smelling foundations in the past, and I'm like, what is up with that? So far, it doesn't feel like anything different. Like, I'm not getting any kind of tingly sensation and stuff. Keep in mind, I am not someone that I don't have sensitive skin. I don't have sensitive anything, literally. The color that the website had picked out for me, it is a little bit darker than my neck. I don't know how it's picking up on camera. I can kind of tell on the viewfinder. I'm not too sure though from here because the light, my ring light, kind of affects like how I see it. But the color isn't actually too bad. I am actually paler than what I normally am because we literally haven't had like consecutive days of sun. It's been really gloomy lately, and that does affect my color a little bit. Not too much, but a little bit. So even my warm sand is kind of like too warm. But I mean, keep in mind when you put concealer and you highlight and all that, it does alter it overall. So not something I'm too worried about either. But other than that, the color isn't too far off. In fact, this actually is a really good match for me for most of the year. But year round, there's only like a few times out of the year where I actually get like slightly paler. And then there's times where I get darker because I do like to self-tan. So, but right now I'm not self-tan. This is just my pale skin. Okay, so this is with one layer of the foundation on, and I gotta say I really am liking the finish of it because it's not super matte. There was a stage in my life where I really liked matte, like ultra matte, just super, like no shine whatsoever. But over the years, I've kind of like gradually leaned more towards not a dewy finish, but just a healthy skin look. So where there's just maybe a slight sheen on like my nose and like my cheeks, because really that's what a healthy skin should mimic, is a slight sheen. You don't want to be completely dried out. Also, it's just really not comfortable if you're too dry. So I really like that this is not oily, it's not dewy in my opinion. It really does, it's kind of like a soft matte. I'm gonna say soft matte. And with the whole like blurring and poreless finish of it, I can't say that it really diminished the look of my pores, but I do see that it has a softer look, and it's kind of like a blurring effect with the pores. Especially like on my nose, I can tell too, like it's just like almost a like diffused look of your pores. So I wouldn't say it's poreless, and I don't see it settling into the pores, so that's even better too. So that's a plus. I'm gonna zoom in so you guys can see a closer look. Okay, we're up close and personal now. So I hope you guys can see the up close finish of this foundation. You guys can see my forehead here and this side. Another thing is that I don't feel the need that like I need to hurry up and grab powder to set it. Honestly, it kind of looks like I already set it with powder, so, but like again, not too powdery, not too chalky, so that I really like. On camera, maybe you can see like here that now that you're closer, the color of this. I really like the finish so far. I'm really liking this. Hopefully it doesn't upset my skin or anything. Another thing to mention here that I didn't mention before, it's a 1 fluid ounce bottle. So it's their standard size of foundation bottle. It's a pretty good amount here too. It's in glass. Love that. I love it when they're in glass bottles. Okay. So right now, I don't know if you guys can see here, it's 11:28, and I'm gonna finish the rest of my makeup and then I will check back in later. Okay, I'm back and the rest of my makeup is on. That took a little longer than expected. So now that my makeup is fully on, I'm just gonna carry on for the rest of my day like how I normally would, or whatever I have planned for today. So I'm actually gonna go run a few personal errands, and hopefully I can check in within a few hours. So right now it's 12:50. From what I can tell right now, I mean, I'm really liking it. The color does oxidize a tiny bit after you've had it on for a little bit, but again, nothing too dramatic. So if you feel like you're gonna be iffy about the color choice, don't worry too much. Just keep in mind it may get slightly darker, but I don't think it's anything that you would need to change the color for. Like, I don't think you need to go a color up or anything like that. So, okay, I'll check back in with you guys later. Okay, so I'm checking back in again. It is now gonna be 5:26, if y'all can see there. Let's see, between the time that I last checked in and until now, I did powder my nose once, and that was maybe about like about 3 hours ago or so. So right now, I haven't even blotted, I haven't powdered, so if you guys can kind of tell, my skin does have some shine coming through right now. This is typical though for me. I gotta say, I don't want to be misleading or let you all think that the foundation isn't doing the job that it says it's gonna do. So to have some oil push through already, that's something totally normal for me. It's nothing that I get upset about because I know there's really nothing that I can control other than to just make sure I have blotting papers with me or some pressed powder, because that's the only thing that will really help with that. So I'm just gonna kind of powder my nose now. So yeah, usually if I just blot though, like, I mean, that will just do it for me. I gotta say though, it doesn't look wet. It's just like, it's just dewy. So don't think that, like, oh my God. What I like though, and what I can say, my makeup isn't sliding off. So I love that. Even like on the lines of my face, I'm trying to look to my mirror here. So like even on the lines of my face, because like, when I do like make facial expressions and stuff, I always get a line of breakage right here. And then I always get breakage right here because I laugh a lot, guys. Like, I'm constantly laughing. So yeah, it's normal for me to get some breakage around my mouth and especially on my forehead, because when I go like that, I don't know if you guys can see, I get like a wrinkle on there. So, but I'm really impressed with that. So we're on the 6-hour mark or so. I definitely want to see how this does past 8 hours, because it's usually like the typical working day for us. So let's see how it is at 8 hours. I'll probably do a little bit more than 8 hours. I'll bring you guys in closer just so you can kind of see it. Okay, so this is what it looks like close up right now after about 6 hours of wear. I still think that it looks really, really good for it being on for that long. I mean, what do you guys think? I think so far so good. I'm gonna start actually kind of unwinding right now. I'm gonna get dinner going, and then I'll check back in with you guys probably after dinner, see how it's still holding up. But so far so good. It's kind of promising, so. Okay guys, so we are at my last check-in. It is now 10:14, and so yeah, I don't see too much of a difference. I did blot because I got oily again, which again is totally normal for me. I do see a little bit of breakage on my forehead already, but we are about close to the 11-hour mark. We're kind of more at the 10-hour mark. So seeing breakage at around this length of time is pretty normal, especially for a foundation that doesn't claim to be long wearing. So nothing too surprising there. I gotta say though, it did hold up pretty well. I do love the coverage. The coverage lasts throughout the whole day that I had it on. And that's even with me like cooking and, you know, right now like before I had dinner and stuff. So yeah, I gotta say, I'm fairly pleased with this foundation. Now, how it works throughout a longer period of time, like over a few days, over a few weeks, that I'll have to check back in with you later. Maybe I'll post something about it on my Instagram, not too sure. Make sure to be following me. I usually do like to post a little few snippets from product reviews if I don't have time or don't feel like it's worth filming a whole video over. Or maybe I'll make it to my monthly favorites. I ended up really liking it, and I'll give you what my full opinion is on it after having it for a period of time. But other than that, I give it a thumbs up. So for me, it is a definite go, and I am very pleased with this foundation and this purchase. I think it's a pretty good one for a drugstore quality. If you're sensitive to drugstore, I don't know how your skin might react to it, but it's worth a shot in my opinion. So please make sure to like, subscribe, and share, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!